Every man reaches a moment when he begins to wonder, quietly, if his best days are behind him. The mornings feel slower, the spark in his body, that familiar charge that once made him feel alive, seems to fade. Most men blame age. They think, this is just how getting older feels. But the truth, my friend, is that what's changing isn't your desire, it's your circulation. I've spent more than 20 years studying what really happens inside the male body after 60. And here's what I can tell you with absolute certainty. Loss of energy, weaker erections, and fading confidence aren't signs of failure. They're signals. Whispers from your blood vessels telling you that your body's inner highways are slowing down. The arteries that once carried life-giving blood with ease are narrowing, losing their flexibility. It starts small, a drop in stamina, a weaker response, a quiet frustration that no one talks about. But here's the good news. Decline isn't destiny. You can restore what time has taken not by chasing pills or quick fixes, but by rebuilding blood flow from the inside out. Because real vitality isn't about testosterone alone, it's about oxygen, circulation, and the quiet chemistry that keeps your body alive and responsive. And sometimes the solution doesn't come from the pharmacy, it comes from the fridge. Hidden in everyday fruits, simple, natural, delicious, are compounds proven to clear arteries, restore nitric oxide, and awaken the very flow that fuels your energy and intimacy. If you're new here, welcome to Men 50X, where we blend science, medicine, and experience to help men over 60 reclaim their strength. Naturally, honestly, and without shame. If that sounds like the journey you're ready to start, take a second right now to subscribe and turn on notifications. What you'll learn here may just give you back a part of yourself you thought was gone. In the next part, I'll reveal the real reason men lose firmness, energy, and drive after 60, and why it's not your hormones, your age, or your mindset. It's something far more fixable. The truth about weak circulation and lost confidence. When men come to see me, husbands, veterans, grandfathers, they rarely start the conversation with the real issue. They talk about being tired, losing energy, or not sleeping well. But eventually the truth surfaces. They lean in, lower their voice, and say, "Doc, it's just not working like it used to." And I always tell them the same thing. It's not your fault. Because what's happening inside your body isn't about age, it's about blood flow. After 60, your arteries start to stiffen. The smallest vessels, especially the ones responsible for circulation to the lower body, begin to narrow. They lose flexibility, like old garden hoses that can't handle pressure anymore. When that happens, blood doesn't move as easily. Not to your heart, not to your brain, and not where you need it most as a man. This process doesn't just affect performance, it steals confidence. It makes you feel disconnected from your own body, from your partner, from the man you used to be. And that's where so many men lose hope. But here's the part most doctors never explain. Those same arteries that lose flexibility can regain it. Your body still knows how to heal. You just have to give it the right tools. According to research from Harvard Health and the National Institutes of Health, the same natural compounds that protect your heart can also restore blood flow to smaller vessels, the ones responsible for firmness and sensitivity. When circulation improves, everything changes. Energy, focus, stamina, even mood. I'll never forget a patient named Frank, 67. He told me, "Doc, I thought my marriage was over." But within weeks of restoring his circulation naturally, no pills, no surgery, he said something that stayed with me. "I feel like myself again." That's the moment every man deserves. So let me ask you, have you ever felt like your body just isn't keeping up with your mind anymore? Leave me a simple yes or no in the comments. You'd be surprised how many men your age are thinking the exact same thing right now. Next, I'll show you how food, real food can become your strongest medicine, and why 4 simple fruits may hold the key to bringing life back to your blood flow. Nature's blueprint. Why food can rebuild. What pills can't.
Honestly,
most men have been taught to look for solutions in a bottle.
It feels like my whole
A pill
body
for
is just
energy,
disconnected.
another for blood pressure, one more for performance. But nature's design has always been simpler, wiser, and infinitely more powerful. Inside the foods we eat every day are the same compounds that modern medicine tries to replicate. The secret isn't more medication, it's better circulation, built naturally. When I began practicing medicine, I believed what most doctors believed, that aging inevitably weakens blood flow. But after 2 decades studying men's health, I discovered something remarkable. Many of my healthiest older patients weren't relying on prescriptions at all. They were relying on food. Real food. The kind that strengthens arteries, supports nitric oxide, and clears inflammation from the inside out. See, every artery in your body has a delicate inner lining called the endothelium. Think of it like the skin inside your blood vessels. Smooth, elastic, and alive. It's what allows blood to flow freely when you're young. But over time, high sugar, processed fats, and stress damage that lining, turning it rigid and narrow. That's when performance begins to fade. Not because of age, but because your body can no longer deliver blood where it needs to go. Here's the good news. The same natural compounds found in fruits like pomegranate, watermelon, black grapes, and citrus can actually repair the endothelium, increase nitric oxide, and open those tiny arteries again. These fruits don't just help your heart. They help every part of your circulation, from your brain to your most private areas. Food is information. Every bite tells your body what to do, to inflame or to heal, to close up or to open flow again. So if you've ever felt that spark fading, remember this. You don't need to chase youth. You need to feed it. I want you to think about this before we move forward. What do you eat that truly fuels you? What habits might be quietly stealing your circulation? Drop your answer in the comments. Awareness is the first step toward change. In the next part, we'll begin with one of the most powerful of all. A fruit so potent it's been called nature's Viagra. It's red, rich, and quietly rebuilding the confidence of men across the world. Pomegranate, the rebuilder of flow. When men talk about strength, they often think of muscles, testosterone, or endurance. But real male power begins with blood flow. And one of the simplest, most powerful tools to restore that flow grows quietly on trees. The pomegranate. I first met George when he was 68, divorced back in the dating world, and struggling with something most men never talk about out loud. He said, "Doc, I feel fine up here," tapping his head. But my body's not getting the message down there. He didn't want pills. He didn't want chemicals. He wanted control. That's when I introduced him to the pomegranate, a fruit ancient cultures called the seed of vitality. Science has now caught up to what tradition always knew. Pomegranate is packed with polyphenols and a rare antioxidant called punicalagin, which helps your body produce nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for opening blood vessels. When nitric oxide rises, arteries relax, and blood begins to flow freely again. Studies published in the International Journal of Impotence Research found that men who drank a small glass of pomegranate juice daily showed significant improvement in firmness and sensitivity within weeks, naturally without drugs or side effects. For George, the difference was life-changing. After a month of drinking pomegranate juice with lunch, he came back to my office grinning. "Doc," he said, "it's working, and I didn't need a prescription." But what truly struck me wasn't just his result. It was his confidence, his posture, the way his voice carried again. That's what healthy blood flow gives back. Not just function, but dignity. If you want to try it, go for pure pomegranate juice, not the sugar-heavy blends. A small glass a day is enough. Or add fresh seeds to your oatmeal or smoothie. The goal isn't excess, it's consistency. Because every day you restore circulation, you build momentum back into your life. Tell me in the comments, have you ever tried pomegranate juice? Did you notice any difference in your energy or stamina? I read every story because what works for one man can inspire another to begin. In the next part, we'll move from the red fruit of strength to one that cools, hydrates, and opens your vessels fast. Watermelon, nature's own nitric oxide booster. Watermelon, nature's blood flow accelerator. Some remedies don't come in capsules. They come from the earth, sweet and simple. Watermelon is one of them. Most people see it as a summer treat, but inside that bright red flesh lies one of nature's most powerful circulation boosters. The secret is L-citrulline, an amino acid your body converts into L-arginine, which then turns into nitric oxide, the very compound that tells your arteries to open and relax. Think of nitric oxide as your body's internal signal for flow. The more of it you have, the easier it is for blood to travel where it needs to go, including the smallest vessels that matter most to a man's confidence. I learned this lesson from my father years ago during a sweltering Texas summer. After a long morning working in the yard, he cut 2 thick slices of watermelon and said, "You know, this stuff makes me feel like a new man." I laughed, but later that night I looked up the science, and he was right. Studies from the Journal of Urology confirmed that men who consume L-citrulline-rich foods like watermelon experience better blood flow and stronger, more sustained performance, naturally and safely. One of my patients, a retired police officer named Henry, decided to replace his nightly dessert with a bowl of chilled watermelon. Within 3 weeks, he noticed more energy, better sleep, and what he called a little spark I thought I'd lost. The improvement wasn't just physical, it was emotional. He felt alive again. Here's how to do it right. Eat a few slices in the evening or blend them into a smoothie. The natural balance of amino acids, antioxidants, and electrolytes in watermelon hydrates your cells and fuels your circulation. If you've tried watermelon recently, tell me in the comments. Do you notice a lift in your energy or mood afterward? Small observations like that are often the first signs of your body waking up again. And if pomegranate restores your foundation and watermelon reactivates your flow, the next fruit does something even more powerful. It doesn't just move blood, it strengthens it. Coming up next, the dark, tiny fruit that supports both testosterone and endurance. Black grapes, the hidden powerhouse for men after 60. Black grapes, the tiny powerhouse of circulation and strength. Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest power. A handful of black grapes may not look like much, but inside their deep purple skin lies one of the most potent compounds for male vitality, resveratrol. I first met Howard, 73, during a routine checkup. He wasn't there for performance issues, at least not at first. He told me he'd been feeling drained, irritable, and distant from his wife of nearly 50 years. He thought it was just part of getting old. But when we looked closer, his circulation and testosterone levels were both low. A 1-2 punch that robs men of energy and connection. Instead of prescribing another medication, I asked him to try something simple. Add a small handful of black grapes to his daily routine. He raised an eyebrow, smiled politely, and said, "Doc, fruit? Really?" I nodded. "Trust me." A month later, he returned with a grin that said everything before he even spoke. "Doc," he laughed, "my wife told me to thank you." Here's what happened inside his body. The resveratrol in black grapes helps your blood vessels relax, reduces inflammation, and supports natural testosterone production, the key hormone for strength, stamina, and confidence. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that resveratrol enhances endothelial function, improving the flexibility of arteries and the responsiveness of circulation throughout the body. In plain terms, better blood flow, better energy, better life. You can eat them fresh, toss them into your oatmeal, or even freeze them for a cool, healthy snack. Just 1 cup a day delivers enough antioxidants to start making a difference. The magic isn't in the fruit alone, it's in the consistency. Howard didn't change everything overnight. He just made one small promise to his health and kept it every day. Tell me this, what's one small habit you've added lately that's helped you feel better? Drop it in the comments, because sometimes it's the smallest changes that start the biggest comebacks. Next, we'll talk about a fruit that does something extraordinary. It doesn't just boost flow, it cleanses your arteries from the inside out. The quiet protector of circulation and clarity? Citrus. Citrus. The cleansers of the arteries. Some fruits don't just energize your body, they purify it. Citrus fruits like oranges, lemons, and grapefruits work quietly every day to keep your arteries clear, flexible, and ready to deliver strong, healthy blood flow. And for men after 60, that can mean the difference between decline and renewal. I'll never forget Bill, a 72-year-old Navy engineer who walked into my office carrying a small notebook. Inside, he had written everything he ate, drank, and did each day. He was determined to feel better without more pills. As I flipped through his notes, one thing caught my eye. Every morning, he drank a glass of fresh orange juice. Not from a carton, not from concentrate. The real thing. I smiled because Bill was unknowingly doing something powerful. Citrus fruits are packed with flavonoids, especially one called hesperidin. These natural compounds strengthen blood vessel walls, reduce inflammation, and improve arterial flexibility. Think of your arteries like garden hoses. The cleaner and more elastic they are, the stronger and smoother the flow. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that men who consume citrus regularly have better circulation, lower blood pressure, and a reduced risk of vascular stiffness. And here's the part I love most, but it doesn't take much. A single orange, a slice of grapefruit, or even a squeeze of lemon in your water every morning can start cleaning your arteries from within. Bill didn't change his diet overnight. He just made that one ritual non-negotiable. Months later, he told me his morning walks were easier, his legs felt lighter, and as he smiled and admitted, "Doc, my nights got better too." That's the beauty of citrus. It doesn't force change. It supports it gently, day after day. If you're listening to this right now, I want to ask you something simple. What's the first thing you drink in the morning? Coffee, juice, or water? Tell me below. Because sometimes just replacing that first sip can change the entire direction of your day. In the next part, we'll bring it all together. How these 4 fruits, when combined with simple daily habits, can reignite the strength, energy, and intimacy you thought time had taken away. The man who took his power back. If you've stayed with me this far, then I want to speak to you now. Not as a doctor, but as a man who understands what it feels like to lose something quietly over time. When energy fades, when intimacy weakens, when confidence slips, it's not just physical. It touches your pride, your spirit, your sense of self. But I need you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not done. What's fading can be restored. I've seen it with my own eyes. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, men who thought the fire was gone, rebuild it from the inside out. Not with pills, not with shortcuts, but with truth, patience, and daily consistency. You've now seen how simple, natural tools, pomegranate, watermelon, black grapes, and citrus, can restore blood flow, cleanse arteries, and bring life back to your body. And when you pair these with the right habits, walking each day, staying hydrated, sleeping deeply and cutting down on processed foods, your body begins to respond. Slowly at first, then unmistakably. One of my favorite patients, Richard, 70, told me something I'll never forget. "Doc," he said, "the best part isn't just feeling stronger, it's waking up each morning knowing I still can." That's what this is about, possibility. Because once circulation returns, everything changes. Energy, focus, intimacy, even hope. So here's my challenge for you. Don't wait. Choose one fruit from this list, one habit from your day, and start today. Because healing doesn't happen in the future. It starts right where you are. If today's message spoke to you, do one small thing for yourself and for another man who needs to hear it. Click like, share this video, and subscribe to Men 50X. This is where men after 60 learn to rebuild from the inside out, with science, wisdom, and quiet strength. And remember this, my friend, you don't have to chase youth. You can rebuild it. One choice, one meal, one sunrise at a time.